going on, everyone? Kelly Cavalier here, one half of Seven Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode number 102. We have moved past. Hopefully, everyone is recovered. It's the Tuesday after the CBAs. Has the post-event syndrome set in for everybody yet? I know it was almost like being back in person at a real dance event. 4 days of nonstop action. We had interviews, we did cabarets, we had the awards, we did social dancing, we did requests, we did live contests. It was like we were at a personal event. At least I know I was tired enough to I felt like I was at an in-person event. So hopefully everyone enjoyed themselves this weekend. Huge shout out to everyone involved that made this whole event great. And we're going to get to talk with one of them today. Just a quick couple reminders, guys. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, follow Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Go like us all. You never know what we're going to post. This way you get notifications every time we go live, either on YouTube or Facebook. Right now, this is being broadcasted on both. That way people can watch it wherever they want to go. Also, every Tuesday, Honky Tonk Highway hits the airwaves. I am on Line Dancer Radio every Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. UK time, 9 to 11 Eastern. It's pretty much what we do here, but I get to play some music along with it, so we get to have some fun. This morning's show, I did a nice little recap all about the CBAs, playing some of my favorite songs that we heard all weekend. And also, we did a huge discussion on some different things that happened. Also, don't forget, if you never have time to watch the shows, I rip the audio and turn them into a podcast. So head over to Apple iTunes or Spotify, subscribe to the Honky Tonk Highway. You can listen in and enjoy. So, also, this Thursday, shows have moved to Tuesdays and Thursdays for a little bit, guys. This Thursday, I'm going to be doing an entire show on the CBA recap. That will be at 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK time. Whole CBA recap. We're going to get to talk about everything that happened, all the different things and stuff like that. That's going to be this Thursday, February 4th. So, today's guest. If you missed the CBAs, guys, you missed a hell of a time. This gentleman was the newest member inducted into the Hall of Fame. If you know anything about Australian line dance, you definitely know this man's name. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Watson. What's going on, sir?
Hey, Kelly, how are you, mate?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
I'm on top of the world. It's been a pretty crazy ride the last week or so.
I'm about to say, you've had a pretty amazing week. New daughter, new business, and then coming on thinking you're just getting to be a presenter for some awards and get inducted to the Hall of Fame all in 1 week.
Crazy week. I couldn't imagine it. It's been an amazing experience, and wasn't the CBAs was a great weekend. I was so glad I could take part in that, but thrilled to be a recipient and inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was talking about this on the radio show this morning. That one of my two favorite moments was getting to be behind the scenes and getting to see your reaction when you found out and put you up on screen. And it was definitely a highlight of my weekend, considering it was my first CBAs. So yeah, huge congratulations, man. I'm so happy when you got inducted. That had to be an amazing feeling.
It was very unexpected, and I don't think any of us do what we do to get the recognition, but when you do get recognised by your peers, it's very heartwarming, and I'm very, very thankful, and I'm very blessed.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know you out there, why don't you give everyone a little brief synopsis of like how you got into the line dancing and how you became an event director and started that nice big event you have over there?
Yeah, cool. It all kind of happened by accident, Kelly. My parents loved country music, and that's what I grew up on, was country music and the old school country, your Charlie Prides and your Waylon and Willies and Australian country, Slim Dusty and John Williamson. So that's what I grew up on. And we used to go and support live music, and it was a Sunday night. I was 6 years old, and we went out to watch Ian Betteridge, actually a country singer on the Central Coast. And there was all these line dancers there dancing. And I was mesmerised and hopped up that night, and I never really sat back down, and was addicted and loved it and loved the people and loved the music. And I was playing soccer at the time, and after about a year or two, and I wasn't great at soccer. I was never going to do amazing things, but I was active and I enjoyed it, But after a year or two, my soccer coach said, Chris, you can't be going out till 8:30 or 9 o'clock on a Friday night line dancing, then come into soccer at 7 and 7:30 tired because of your line dancing. Like you're gonna have to give up. So I gave up soccer. I think he thought I was going to give up line dancing, but um, yeah, so I gave up soccer, and that's really how my dance path started. My mum drove me around a lot as a kid to all these different events, and we moved to Tamworth when mum and dad separated. And then at that stage, I just wanted to do something. At that time, they were trying to get the Westpac Rescue Helicopter to Tamworth, which is a charity that helps people from remote areas get to hospital when there's been major accidents or trauma. And they were raising funds for that. So as an 11-year-old at that stage, I thought, well, I'm going to run a line dance competition. I've been competing for a long time, and we're going to raise some money. So I think my first event, I was 11, I had 60 people at it, and we raised $1,000, which I thought was great. But that's how it all then happened. And then from then on in, we kept the event on the first weekend in May until I was 17. And then when I was 17, I won a scholarship to go and study in upstate New York, and it was a Rotary Exchange program. And that was a year that really changed my life, and became good friends with Johnny Montana and everyone in that region up there. And rest in peace, Johnny. He's a great family friend of ours, and my kids love him and I love him, and he's going to be very, very missed. So Johnny got me involved in the Mishnok and Friends Dance Weekend up at Hudson Valley, and when I saw that, I was mesmerised. And then from there was involved and invited to other events, and went, Australia needs something like this. And that's how Mayworth evolved and started. Came back and just went, let's give it a go. And it was originally called the Australian Country Dance Festival, and we still keep that name, but it's not country anymore. Dancing's evolved so much, which is great. And one weekend, someone was saying, are you going to Tamworth? And there used to be two events in Tamworth, January, the Country Music Festival, and May. And they went, which one, January or Mayworth? And someone just accidentally said Mayworth, and that's how the name stuck. And yeah, so here we are. I'm very proud that we're now the Australian Dance Masters, and people can qualify for World Dance Masters. And we've got some amazing, talented people that have qualified because of that event here and have won and become world champions. And we've brought numerous international instructors out. And we have great choreographers, great instructors, great DJs here, but so does the rest of the world. And sometimes we don't get to see that. So Mayworth's really about making sure we get to see the talent from all over the world and broadening those horizons, as well as promoting our homegrown talent.
Absolutely. I remember always seeing the post, and it's always everyone says, you got to get over there. You got to get over there. And I've seen the post Fred's posted, that Guyton's posted before, Rachel's posted. It's just, the pictures that Simon and Maddie always post. I'm just like, and I live near water, but no, not even. I'm sorry, not even close. I grew up near beaches, but man, let me tell you, I would kill that. Yeah, the atmosphere you put up, from at least from what I've seen, is absolutely amazing. Absolutely
it's a great atmosphere, and it's very inclusive, and everyone, even the competition part of it, they're a family, and everyone's there for the right reasons, and everyone's encouraging people. So it is a beautiful event, and it's evolved like that. And unfortunately for you, we were getting you to come over last year, and then
COVID hit, right? I was me and Kelly were talking about that. I go, of course, the one year we start talking to Chris about trying to get over there, and then COVID hit and killed everything. I'm like, of all years, I'm like, how does this happen?
Yeah. But we will get you here. We will get you here.
I'm so looking forward to that. Trust me, brother. It's in case I know you've watched some of the shows, but I always ask, and this question will come to you later. When I always ask them the money is no object question, I always ask everybody I have on my show, where would you hold an event and who would you bring? And my destination is Australia, because I want to go. It's not like forget everybody else. I want to go hang out in Australia.
That's cool. That's cool.
Nicola just said everyone in the UK is always blown away by the Aussies when they come to Blackpool. Oh, yeah.
And look, I was actually just about to mention Nicola and Sam, because they believed in Australia when we wanted to get the World Dance Masters. And I know that they can tell you the struggle was real. There was like a barrier of people going, no, we don't want that. That's not us. That's not where we are. And we brought Nicola and Sam over, and they started some training, and they started talking about what World Dance Masters is. and people evolved and opened up. And I'm so glad that Sam and Nicola stuck with us. And I'm very proud of the Australian dance community for sticking with us. And we still are very true to our Australian style. But I think that our dancers have learned so much from being part of World Dance Masters. It's really opened up their eyes, and it's encouraged the youth to become more involved here, and really fostered that as well. So, we're very proud to have some all-stars here in Australia, and we've now got, qualified judges here, and it's a great relationship. And I'm very, very thankful I saw Nicola was on. I'm very, very thankful for Nicola and Sam for their support of that. And of course, Rachel was a big driving force of that for us as well.
Sure. It was awesome because with Madison coming over so much, she always usually finds a travel partner. And thanks to that, I've got to spend a lot of time with her dad, Tom, which amazing man. I got to talk to him on the phone the other night after the awards when we talked to Maddie. And then, but last year she brought Elise Spinks over to the marathon, and we got to meet Elise and spend some time with her. But it was really cool because Madison wasn't able to be at World Dance Masters that year, but me and Kelly were going, so we got to be there when Elise won her 3 awards.
Oh, awesome.
And I actually was sitting on the edge of the floor with some of the Country Vibe guys, people waiting to get done, and I got to be there every time she came off the floor. So it was awesome because I kept sending pictures of Maddie and videos of Maddie of her going up there, and it was great to be there after getting to meet her and getting to share that with Maddie for her. But it's always fun. Between Madison, Simon, everybody from Australia. When I got to meet you at Florida Classic or Tampa, when it was still Tampa Bay, when you came over right before Vegas, when you brought a bunch of your dancers over before going to Vegas that year, when we actually got to be, it was a great time, and I always love it. It's always a fun time when y'all are around.
It is, that definitely. I think the Aussies know how to party, which sometimes is a worry. But you touched on Tom, and Tom's been one of those people that have influenced me in line dancing, and he was the first person to call me after the CBAs and congratulate me. And he's such a humble and great man. And we had a good old chat. And, he brought back some memories of when Maddie was 3 and, I was 8 or 9, and we're sitting on the side of the competition dance floor colouring in, or watching Tom do a workshop, and Mum's driven me all the way 6 hours to Bathurst to do a workshop with Tom, but I'm more interested in playing with Maddie and then just go to the social. And some great times as a kid that he reminded me of.
Yeah, amazing time. So obviously, what are the odds? I know we saw Allison got to do People and her in Perth. What's it like over in your part of Australia right now with getting to dance? Are you able to do classes again? I know Stephen Patterson just got to start. He said he got to start doing a couple very smaller classes again. I know Madison just started up again.
Yeah. So we were only shut for 3.5 months. Then we were back with limited numbers. So, and I think that's how everyone started back. And we're back with 20. So we're doing triple the amount of classes effectively. I was trying to do as much as I could to make sure that nobody missed out, because I didn't want to turn away any of our dancers that wanted to dance. So I was teaching the same dance three times a week just to make sure. My Monday nights we broke up into sort of 3 classes, but to make sure that nobody missed out and everyone got the chance to dance. And we just reduced the hours the class went for, but made sure everyone could dance. So we were at that for about another 3 or 4 months. And our numbers in our hall, we were in a club, so in a casino. The hospitality venues and the casinos and things like that still can't have dancing, but halls and dance studios can. So we're in a hall at the moment, and our capacity is now 44 people.
Oh, that's good.
So, we're on the way up, which is good. Yeah. If we can find a slightly bigger hall, we can change the capacity to 50. 50 is the max. But it's nice to be back and experiencing dancing with people around. And,
I bet.
I feel for all those people that still can't. But at the same time, I'm very thankful for the things like Streamline and Maddie and Stephen and Tina and Line Dancer Radio and all those things, Digital Dance Weekend, all those things that have got us through COVID. And I honestly think that community has been more connected than ever. So I know I'm getting off track on the question. It's great to be back dancing with my students, and it's great to be back, with people. We're about to announce today. We've just had to cancel another event that we run called Dance Fusion, which we move the venue each year in Australia, and it was set to be back at SeaWorld this year. And it's one of
Wow.
our favourite venues because it's so cool, and we dance in the theme park,
I've
and
seen the pictures. Yes. That
yeah, so
is nuts.
it's very cool, but we're just about to announce today our first boutique dance weekend, and it'll be a very intimate experience with just 50 dancers having a weekend away in wine country here in New South Wales, and with instructors Simon, Madison, myself, and Kevin and Maria Smith. And we found people at very last minute booking in the travel game. So we put together the event yesterday. We're putting it on sale today, and the event is on in a month's time with just 50 people. So hopefully that'll sell quick and give people the chance to reconnect on the dance floor. And if that works, we'll do a few more of these boutique weekends to help keep our instructors in jobs and help keep the community connected.
It's a good thing you know a good travel agent that can help them work out the travel, huh?
Yeah, I think the travel agency feels like it's retired, but anyway.
uh, Madison said, I was corrupted from an early age by Simon and Chris.
Yeah, now I
Oh,
think she's the one doing the corrupting. The tables have turned a little.
yeah, I remember when the first time I met Tom at Madison, we were over in Nashville a couple years ago at the experience, and it was Simon, Madison, Tom, all of us downtown, and actually Rob Glover's in the chat. He happened to still be in
So
Nashville. He
Rob.
came and met us, so getting to hang out with all of them all at the same time. I had them all at the same time out in the town. Yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy time. It was great.
And Maddie knows that town well. I've hung out in some good joints in that town together, and she does know that town and know how to party. And I know Rob would know all of the great places to go there with his
They
involvement in the
actually
industry.
knew one of the guys performing at a couple of the bars. He was at
Maddie?
kids. Yeah, Maddie and Tom did.
Yeah,
I
that's how
forget.
I know they walked in there and they're like, John Stone's on. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
he's a good mate of ours. And
Yeah. So
yeah,
we
and
got to
then I
listen
think
to him a couple nights.
Then I think Tom even caught up with another friend of mine from Australia, Ron, and they went and saw two Aussies that performed there as well. So I can't remember who he caught up with, but two Aussie acts while he was in town.
What are the odds? Travel
Uh,
all the way across the country and run into two people performing in Nashville that you know.
I know, it's crazy. And in such a big city,
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, some good memories, and got some. Tom's got some good stories about me. Tom's been my roommate a few times, and I've got some good stories about him. But I'm sure they're not over a coffee story. They're over a beer or a
Yeah.
real beverage.
You need to get more. Yeah. It's only a little after 9 a.m. there, so you're good. And we got lots of Aussies in the chat. I know. I remember. The good thing is the benefit from seeing all the names pop up is from the CBAs. I got to know where a lot of people are from, and one of them in here, Kayleen Pitaway, who
She's great.
I don't know how you're still awake. I think you're up about as much as I was, Kayleen, because you were in every session this weekend, chatting
She
along
has
till
so much energy.
she was crazy. It was awesome though, because we always try to throw up questions like, let us know where you're from, what time of day it is, because like at 10 a.m. for the morning sessions, when it was 10 a.m. UK time, it was nighttime for you guys, and it was 5 a.m. for me. So me and Kayleen were on the opposite ends of the spectrum. But we were both still up. We were up the entire time. She stayed for most of the morning session. Was right back at the night session. So it was
Yeah,
awesome getting to see a lot of. We had a lot of Australians join us this weekend. It was great.
it was really good to see that. It
Yeah,
was
and it was definitely a huge shout out. And I did this in my speech yesterday to Alison Johnston for what she put together in Perth.
I know, amazing.
Oh, it was like I said, that gave everyone hope. I think the fact
Yeah.
of what she pulled together.
Kayleen says she's still recovering.
Recovering. I'm sure. I am sure.
Well, I think Alison did such a great job, and Stephen pulled that group together. And on
Yes.
Monday night, my good mate Ashley Dallas surprised me at class, and her and Amanda and a few of my other class
I saw
decorated. And
those pics.
It was lovely. I think again, as I said, it's brought the community so close together. So I think when we can travel again, we might get a nice little tour group of Australians come and check out the Crystal Boot Awards in real time. But we might need a few days to get over the jet lag before we kick off, I reckon.
Yeah, I can imagine the craziness that would ensue there. Because I can only
Yes.
imagine the jet lag you go through when you fly over for your events in Vegas. Because I remember the last one of the last ones I saw you organize. You went from Australia to Vegas for a week, and then you went to Miami for the cruise. Did you not?
That's
That
right. That was almost a year today.
Yes, I remember that because we were still living in Fort Lauderdale, like 45 minutes from where you took off from the cruise, and I saw the timing of it, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, they're going to Vegas first? That's going to be insane. Because I'm like, I'm just thinking of the jet lag you were going to have to go through between
It
going to
was
Vegas.
I don't think we let jet lag hit us. So we landed in Vegas. We were there for 3 days and 3 nights, and it was very full on. It was great to hang out with some of the local line dancers there. We had a night at Gillies where we hired Gillies and ran an event. And then we
Yes.
into Miami, then we flew to Miami, had one night there, and then jumped on the cruise. And it was a hectic. When we hopped on the cruise, I think I was just like, okay, I want to sleep for a day, but it was just from exhaustion and partying. And then I was lucky enough after that, I made a decision on the cruise to actually take an extra day and duck up and have a night with Johnny and Debbie before I came home. And I literally decided that while I was on the cruise and just went, I just need to do this. For some reason, I needed to do it. So I ducked up and had a night up there in upstate New York. And I think I was there for 13 hours, but it was definitely worth it to catch up with them. But it was a hectic couple of weeks. And then I was on my way home, and every time I felt like I got to an airport, the airport was closing as I was leaving, no more flights in, no more flights out. I was
Yep.
like, I just have to get home. Yeah.
Kayleen said, I still went out to and did classes yesterday, and I have 3 classes tomorrow starting at 5 a.m. with Gary O'Reilly.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Kayleen, have you got my popcorn yet? I still can't get it here. They're still sold out here. I need my popcorn.
I don't know how you had the energy. Like we went till I finally stopped streaming at 2:15 in the morning UK time on Sunday night. We went till about 2:15, and then which is about 9:15 here, and then I got done. I showered. I ate dinner. I think I finally went to bed about midnight my time, so about 5 a.m. in the UK. I slept until 5 p.m. UK time, 5:30 ish. I slept for 12 hours. Kelly finally woke me up and she goes, "We might want to eat." So I literally slept for 12 straight hours, and I woke up and it didn't feel like I slept at all. My body ached. I felt like I just went through an entire in-person event, and I didn't leave my office for 4 days.
Uh, I only got to join in the nighttime sections and one or two of the workshops where I would wake up. Gemma would wake up to feed our new little bubba Pippa, and so
Yeah.
I'd get up, make her a cup of tea, and then I'd just watch a couple of minutes or tune in and see what dances were being taught. And I wish I could have been connected more, but I was so happy to see so many people connected and be part of it. It was a great experience to see so many from around the world online, and yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I was on lack of sleep just from Pippa, let alone just trying to catch the awards. I caught them in my daylight hours and the events. But I did miss the official after party. I was looking for someone. It was only 10 o'clock Sunday morning, and the kids were eating bacon and eggs that I cooked, and I was looking for someone to crack a bottle of champagne with me. But anyway,
I'm sure you could have probably called Maddie because she probably would have.
I think she'd already had a beer at that stage. Tom told me they'd already had a beer.
She had a couple of bottles of champagne. I remember they called us right after. They called us right after we got done live streaming on Sunday night, and because it was still thing, and she said she got up at 4 a.m. Aussie time for her, and by noon she goes, I don't know how I'm still going. She goes, they ate all day. Tom was barbecuing. They were having a great party all night. It was great. And I'm like, I would have been the same way after the night she had. I wouldn't have been able to sleep either. 5 awards, getting to be there right after the Hall of Fame induction, and then you get to present her with an award. That had to be.
That was a highlight for me, presenting Maddie an award. I'm going to get emotional again. Look, I'm very proud of Mads and see her develop how she's done. I'm also very proud of Simon, and he took me under his wing a bit and helped me from a young age too, and told me to follow those dreams. But seeing Mads do what she has done for the Australian industry and for the line dance industry, and to develop her brand and her business. And again, it's tough for young people, but Mads has followed those dreams. So presenting a crystal boot to her was an absolute thrill to me. And I spoke to Tom and her, and I said, in a year that has been crazy and everything seems almost impossible, there's things that are possible. And
Yeah.
and without her being able to tour, without any of our dance instructors, Daniel, Jose, Rachel, Joanne, all of them, many of the instructors that can't tour, to stay connected with the dance community, and then to take home crystal boots in a year where you can't go out and actually see people and actually socialize them and thank them and teach them for those dances. And it's great that we do all that online, but to be able to take a boot home in that year just
Yeah.
shows the personality, the talent, the love that the industry have for those people. So, and that, look, that's what I was blown away with. I never thought I'd get a crystal boot, let alone be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm up there with my heroes. And I remember seeing Jo Thompson when I was, I think, about 9 years old, and she was over here with Scooter Lee and Joanne Brady and a few others at a CWDI event back then.
Oh, wow.
And I remember competing, and then I remember I followed Jo everywhere all weekend, and when I want to be like her, I want to be like her. And being up there with some of those people that are my heroes is quite amazing.
Yeah, Mattis said, "Don't make me cry. I've just done my makeup for my DDW6 videos she's shooting." And Kelly just reminded me. Kelly had actually shot the behind the scenes shot of, because I had my two massive screens with all the scenes going up, and she was over my shoulder filming the raw footage coming in of when you realized Dave was talking about you. And it's funny. And thank you, Kayleen. Just said, cause she said I was marvelous all weekend. I tried. And what was hard for me is knowing that I knew the schedule behind the scenes and knowing what was coming up in the order. And I turned to Kelly and I'm like, I don't know who's going to get more emotional here, because I don't know what he's going to be more proud of, the fact that he's about to get this, but then the fact that when he realizes, when I tell him that you're giving this award to Maddie. And I knew that was going to be a special segment right there. And I'm like, oh. And I was wishing we got Darren Bailey on the line, because that's the one, because that was the one set like right in a row. I'm like, oh, it was golden.
And,
I was
Darren,
oh.
he's such a great guy and great ambassador. I have so much time for him. So, yeah, that would have just added to it for
right,
me.
I know. It's just like, oh.
To be able to give a crystal boot to one of my best friends in the whole wide world, and someone I'm very, very proud of. For me, that's a moment I will cherish forever. And the Hall of Fame is there with that moment, but that whole 10 minutes that all that happened is like a dream. And I think you or Steve had to say to me, I wasn't watching the video, I was talking to you guys in the background, and someone
Steve
had to
said,
say,
turn your volume up.
you want to turn the volume up and listen to this. And that's how no idea and naive I was. I wasn't paying any attention, and I was just thinking about my job ahead and what I had to do, and making sure I was going to say that I was going to announce the right award or something.
Right. It was fun getting to do that, put that together. And because I did the same thing to Rachel, where I made it sure I had a way to put, once they said your name, to put you up where they could see you, your reaction, your actual thing. And I did the same thing to Rachel at the beginning when Tim Rusgar showed up. And then we played the clip from when they gave her award for the Superstars. And she was like, "You could have warned me I was up on screen." I go, "No, where's the fun in that? Where's the?" That was the whole point. Like when we wanted to call everybody in live, we wanted that reaction. We wanted to feel like we were at the boots. Like when you got to see everyone jump up from the table when they were won, and their emotional reaction of all of a sudden their phone starts ringing, and oh wow, that's my phone. Wait. And that's why we kind of liked it. And they're like, "How are we going to do that with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's easy. We're going to have him on screen already because he's going to prepare the next rewards. We'll just bring him in a few minutes early and have him sit in the back room." I got that one.
That was crazy. It was a moment, and I was actually coming to the Crystal Boot Awards this year.
You're right.
Um,
Betty
for
and
the
Steven
first,
told me that part. I'm like, oh, that's even, oh, knowing
uh,
that too. It's like, oh,
and just because it's a bucket list for me. It was on my
right.
bucket list, and I'm not going to lie. The last year or two has been really hard with business and trying to keep all aspects of my life going, while trying to be a good dad and trying to
Right.
juggle, juggle the line dance business and the community that I love, and keep an income coming in. And I'm very
Absolutely.
thankful and grateful to LDF and everyone that supported that, because they've definitely helped put food on my table this year, and helped my family stay connected and things. So I'm very thankful for that. But I've had some times, and Maddie's been there to prop me up, and Betty one time too, prop me up. Simon and Stephen, Ash has probably been the biggest, Ash Dallas, at the moments where I've gone, I think it's time I needed to stop. I need to move out of the industry. And it's not because I don't love it, it's because I'm just so busy and there's a lot of pressure, and I want to be there for my kids, and I don't want to be away from my wife so much. And
Right.
and then Ash would go, or Maddie will go, just go and have a dance and think about it. And as soon as I get back up and have a dance, I'll hop on the dance floor, or actually stop and think about what it means to me. I'm like, okay, that was a stupid idea.
Yeah.
But and I said to Betty last year, I said, I think it's coming where I'm gonna, where we're trying for another kid. I think it's coming where I might be forced to semi-retire, or step back from the industry, because I want to be a dad and be around. And
Right.
I said, so I have to get to the CBAs. And then Betty's like, you're never going to retire. We know that, Chris. Like, you love the industry too much. And I'm like, I know, but maybe I just need to stop traveling as much or something. But yeah, I'm very, very thankful for all of them for keeping pushing me and keeping me involved. But couldn't believe that I was going to go to the CBAs, and then was inducted. So I've said, if we can get there next year, we'll definitely have to be there.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that one. I always say, no, my body can't take no more. Why do I put myself through this? Wait a minute. What if I do this, this, and this, and this as well? Let's add
That's
more on top of it. Yeah.
that's
I can always count on Rob Glover to come up with some amazing questions. And this one is now, no doubt, just as good. He says, your kindness and entrepreneurial spirit is clear for all of us to see. Who have been your biggest inspirations in life? And what lessons have your years in the dance world taught you to push forward and take risk in business?
Oh, that's a big question. Thanks, Rob. Yeah,
He
appreciate it, man. And Jonathan Sack,
he has
nice.
his way of doing that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the tough ones. And Jonathan Sack, nice to see you could join us, mate. Welcome. Look, if I'm honest, my biggest, the person that's inspired me the most would be my mum. Um, and we had a tough life. We grew up in government housing, and there would be times where mum would struggle to struggle to make sure we had everything we needed, but she would go without for me and my sisters. And we never knew that at a young age. We never knew that there'd be things that mum was missing out on for us. Um, but she would encourage us. We were all three very different kids. One of my sisters went to college to study the arts and acting and modelling, and my other sister qualified for the Olympics with shot put and javelin, and then there was me, who was the dancer. And Mum let us all be the personalities we were, and supported us in whatever those dreams were, while still being, effectively from 11 years on, from the time I was about 10 or 11, she was a single mum, and she did a very good job. So she's probably the most inspiring person in my life. I've had lots of people in business and dance that have influenced my life, but in terms of inspiring, it would have to be my mum. There's some great local people, and Ross Bingham from Ronald McDonald House here has taught me a lot, and he's someone I look up to greatly. And he manages family life with being the CEO of a great charity and making differences to so many people, and so he's another great person. The whole dance community, Rachel, I look up and admire her so much for what she's done for the dance community, and for being there and being a great friend. And at times, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning over there, and I've had times I've gone, Rachel, I need to talk, and she's been there. And I think that's a true person. So There's so many, but the number one will definitely be my mum. And then in Australian line dance, people that have influenced me, of course, the Glover family, Simon. And when I talk about the Glover family, I talk about Kurt and Dion and all of them because they were fantastic dancers in the day. And I remember looking up to them as a kid. Gordon Elliott's done so much here. Julie Talbot's done so much here. Stephen Patterson has done so much over the last 20 years in Australian line dancing and found his way. So lots of people that have inspired me. I think I've learned to just give things a crack. There's no harm in saying I tried and it didn't work. And I almost swore. I've had a lot of those shit moments where things haven't worked, but I've given it a crack. And I think that's all we can do with life is just give things a go. Be true to who you are. Don't look up to all those other people in the dance industry. I love what Guyton was and is, and I love how he was so true to his style and he was Guyton. Be you, stick to your style. And, I love all types of line dance, but I love my country music. And I think just stick to who you are and have a crack. Don't be scared of having a go, because at the end of the day, you can at least say you've put your hand in the ring and you can get back up and give it a go again. And the last week or so has really reminded me of that, because it's been tough. And it's been tough for everyone. We're all in the same storm. We're all in different boats and we're sailing that storm on different levels, but we're all in the same storm. And so the last week's really reminded me to just have a crack. And yeah, so Rob, thanks for those deep questions. But hopefully I answered them.
For being such a big country music fan that I know you are, because I'm the same way. I love my country music, and I know Maddie is too. There's a bar about 10 minutes from where we live, and Maddie's been the very first night Maddie was ever in America. Rachel picked her up from the airport. It was July 4th weekend for her first fits.
Oh, no.
And brought her out to the barn in Sanford, the big barn here in the historic, where Trevor teaches, a bunch of other people teach, and it was the night before July 4th, and that was a club. But Tracy Bird is there live this Friday night. Yeah, Tracy Bird is performing there live this Friday night. So our local bar is still bringing in big acts, which is great. Garth Brooks just did a concert there last year for his Dive Bar tour.
I did see that. Yeah.
One of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life was about 5 or 6 years ago there. Blake Shelton did a 4.5 hour free concert with his old touring band, where he played for 4.5 hours. He maybe played 7 or 8 of his own songs. He played Garth. He played George Strait. He played Brooks and Dunn. He played Johnny Cash. He played everything. It was an amazing time. Colt Ford was just there the other night.
I've met Colt. Yeah, I'm a big fan of country bars in the US, and I haven't been there. I've been to Cowboys and a few others around Florida.
Cowboys is still around.
That place sounds like a very cool venue that I think when I'm over, you're going to have to take and introduce me to.
Absolutely, bro. Come on down. We'll go touring. And that's the funny thing is, where I came up with the idea for the Honky Tonk Highway wasn't to do this version of it, was to go to country places all over the U.S. where line dancing, where the roots are, like big bars in like New York, where Brandon Zahorsi gets about 150, 200 people for his class. Clubs out in Cali, out in Missouri, Tennessee, places like that, and show like the where most people know what line dancing is, where it starts, the other side besides events. And that's where I actually got with the idea for the Honky Tonk Highway. I think when we get here from Mayworth, you can do a Honky Tonk Highway live from Mayworth. Absolutely.
Reese and Jackie will play up on that one.
Absolutely, will gladly do some stuff up there. I was so happy to do that. That would be fun. So I'm going to ask you the same question I ask all my guests, but I'm going to alter it. I'm going to alter it a little bit, but since you already have your dream event, you have your dream event already, and you have the location. But if money was no object, what would you change or add to Mayworth?
But you know what? The first thing I do is try and pay our instructors more because they all bust their bums and they do such a good job for the industry. So I would probably do that. Um, I think, Mayworth's, we probably look for a bigger venue because that's always been an issue with Mayworth. We love the venue we've been in for the last 10 years, but we probably could go with somewhere a bit bigger. And I'd probably bring a few more internationals, and I'd also probably bring a few more Aussies. I don't know that I'd extend the length of the event, but even if we couldn't fit some of them into being in an instructor role on that weekend, we could still have them on staff or have them at the event, or, particularly some of those Aussies that maybe don't get recognition as much, that are great choreographers but don't teach workshops, or some of the instructors that have great classes and great personality but don't choreograph, so don't get as many workshops. And so I think I'd like to recognise some more of those people, and just make it a bit more prestigious like that, having more of those people that have influenced the line dance industry come in. And I'd bring some more live country acts. We've been lucky to bring Ty Herndon
I saw that. Yes.
from the US, and bring John Stone, and work with some amazing people. And we have a small interest in a country bar called Moonshiners. But I'd love to bring some more country acts out because I love my country music.
Yeah, I know a lot of the line dance world was introduced to, and I know she's in the chat, Ashley Dallas, who performed on Streamline during this whole thing. So a lot of people got to know her. I know you. I know you do a lot of things with her. We always see you guys posting together.
She's been a backbone for me this year, her and Maddie. But Ash has been here on the two pivotal days in March, when the 16th and the 29th of March, when we had two big events cancelled, and I just felt like our whole world had tumbled down. And Ash has got a great photo, and you can post it if you want, Ash. I know you did actually send it to me on New Year's, and I was going to put a soppy post up about it, but I disconnected Facebook for a few weeks. And she's got a photo of me in the corner on the ground in my office, just crying, at how we were going to get through this. And every time there was a pivotal moment during COVID, Ash would turn up with a beer or with the phone, or take my phone off me and go, "Let me handle this. You do that side of it. I'll do this side of it." And she is, such a true friend to our family, and a great person. She's got a great new song coming out soon that you should all stay tuned on. And I know I'm going to have to fight to choreograph to it, so I think it's going to have to be
you shouldn't have said anything. You should have waited.
It's going to have to be a compilation of a few instructors, because I know when we hear the song and know what it's about, and it's very relevant, I'm going to be fighting for a few people. So I'd say you'll probably see Stephen's name on it. You might see Maddie's. And I reckon Ash should even have a go at choreographing some steps with us.
Well, there you go. When you have insider information like that, Chris, never share it. Keep it for yourself first, then give it out.
Get the first copy of the song. I've already got a copy. I've got the first copy, but I think that, to be fair, it needs to be shared. This song is too good. It needs to be shared. So
yeah, we got to hear a couple times on Streamline, and it was always a joy. All the acts that Daniel and the boys brought in, they brought up a lot. They added a lot more live music, which, believe it or not, over here, y'all, it's big in events everywhere else but in the U.S. Events have never been big to have live acts. It's never really been a thing here, at least not for the last 20 years that I've known it. So that aspect, when I went over to the UK, was a nice change, because I'm a fan of live music. I love live music. I love going to country concerts. I love it all. So that was definitely a nice change, and getting it here. And we had a couple this weekend. We had Fabio Canoe, Richard Palmer. I know Natalie did one. Nikki Napier, Ethan Allen all came on and did stuff at the CBAs, which was always a fun time.
It was great to see that aspect. Yeah, and I think, heaven forbid, when all of us, Maddie, you and me, and Ash end up at a country concert somewhere there in the US, because that's going to be a big time. And I was very lucky last year, or the year before now, I got to see my idol, George Strait. And
I remember that when you came over for Vegas. Yep.
Yeah, and Maddie was there with me, and Stephen, our good mate Liam Vrew. That was a highlight for me. So always I've been very, very thankful for. And that week was crazy. Brooks and Dunn, Reba, Old Dominion. We saw so many people, but we went to see George, and that was an experience.
Oh, I bet. I got to see him in Texas
Oh,
when I lived out in Texas. I got to see him at the Texas Houston Live's rodeo. Um,
that is on my bucket list. That event.
yeah,
That is
I
on.
was very fortunate. I used to work for a lady who had season tickets to it. So
Oh,
in one
good
year, I
friends.
got to see in one like 2 week period, I got to see George Strait, Toby Keith, Clay
Oh,
Walker.
oh, how
Uh,
good's Clay?
I love that like
The
'90s 2000s country.
90s country.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Correct.
My bucket list was to get to see Montgomery Gentry, but
Yeah,
when one of them passed, it's never going to happen. But I used to see Brooks and Dunn every year when they were here in Florida for the Wild West show.
yeah.
Every year.
I was very lucky to see Montgomery Gentry in
Oh,
Nashville a couple of
oh,
times.
that would
Yeah,
be that's
pretty epic. Yeah.
all those like right there in that end of '90s, beginning of 2000s. That's that
And the
country
90s,
act was
early
just
2000.
oh
Yeah,
that music
yeah,
just changed. I think that changed the game for line dance for sure. Yeah, like
yeah.
Culver said, when country was country. Yeah, that's. I
That,
think that's when it, and that's when that craze went. Like it was right after the Travolta period of doing urban cowboy,
yes,
and then you had um, Luke Perry
pure
did
country.
8 Seconds with the
Yeah,
story of Lane Frost, and right around there is when that music started kicking in, and it you still had the Alabama and the Kenny Rogers and all those bands that kicked it off, but when it evolved to like Brooks and Dunn and Reba and George and Garth, when Garth hit the scene, that was just oh man, that
that
whole
is,
that was just
that's
that's what did
country.
it for me. I randomly walked into Wild Horse Saloon in Orlando, Florida when I worked for Disney. And
Yeah,
I would sit there. I wasn't 21 yet. I would sit there and drink Coke and just listen to the live. They always brought live bands
yeah.
every week. Our house band was Trick Pony
Oh
before they
gosh,
became popular. Before
for
they
me,
had their record with Poor Me. Yep, that was
wish
our
I could
house
sing.
band at the Wild
Wow,
Horse Saloon.
that is cool. That is cool.
They brought in Rascal Flats when they released their first album before they were popular. Everybody and the line dance instructor came up to me and goes, "Why aren't you dancing?" I go, "I don't know many. I don't dance." I go, "I'm a white guy who just likes to listen to country music." He goes, "Show up tomorrow at 7." And that's how I learned how to dance. And I just the
That's
country
cool.
music, and then they got sold. They would have the wild times at night, the non-country, and I randomly met this guy with a ponytail on his head and a visor that danced there named Guyton 20 some odd years ago, and we became great friends and like brothers. And the stuff that's the reason I started going to dance events was Guyton.
Yeah.
I met Guyton at a country bar of all
Wow.
places.
Well, Guyton was my first roommate at a
oh,
dance event
oh,
in
I'm
the
so sorry.
US.
I am so sorry. I can imagine.
It was good fun. No, but it's the same. He's got he's very big heart and he's a
He
great
does.
bloke.
He's,
And he
he's a great guy.
you know sent me a text on Sunday and yeah, I'm very very grateful for the friendship that I have and we miss him. We miss him.
Yeah. You weren't on Sunday night. I surprised everybody at the Crystal Boot Awards, and he actually came on with me live and and
Ah,
chatted with everybody. I
that's
surprised. I told everybody at the beginning of the night that we're going to go late, and I go, you never know who might show up tonight. We're going to do dancing and stuff, but you never know who might show up with me on screen. And I called up Brian Barakauskas. He came
yeah.
on screen with me and talked to the people for a little bit and was chatting. And then about an hour later, I surprised everybody with Guyton. And no one knew what was happening. Everyone was like, "What do you mean you had?" I go, "I told you, you might want to stay up and party with me. You never know." I go, I have a Skype phone book full of so many people from calling in from this event and all my Honky Tonk Highway shows. You never know who I could just dial up and get to come on. And I told everyone that, and they're like, "Oh." And I called him up. I go, "Hey, you near your phone?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Can I call you?" He's like, "Heck yeah, come on, I'll come on." And I called him up and surprised everybody with him, and everyone was like, "What the?" So
I love it. And I love the survival photo of you and Kelly. That was great.
yeah, that was it was we had fun. It was for never being at a boot in person and for never being involved in anything. when Betty asked me to do what I did to produce it and stuff, and then when they asked me to do the DJing at night and then host a couple, I never expected to be that much involved on screen. But to be able to do that and share my love with everybody for this community and get to put a smile on everyone's face for 4 days, I had a blast. I had an absolute blast doing it.
And I love the story you just shared with us about working for Disney and the Wild Horse, and now here you are all those years later, and look what you've just been a part of and done. That's a really cool story and journey.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm most thankful for, is the people I've met and the journey.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. I've met some amazing people due to dance, and I can never complain about it. Glover's got another good question for you.
Oh, no. Rob, what are you doing to me?
He goes, you have taken so many Australians to Nashville for the CMA Fest, which, yes, we almost were able to make it over to that too this year. How many of those experiences been? How have those experiences been for you, and how can we get booked on the second the world reopens? Right? Let's all party.
Nashville won't know what's hit it, Rob. Yeah, look, that's been a great experience for us. That 18 years of taking tours to Nashville, and I think Tom Glover's been on 4 or 5. Maddie's been on a couple with us, and Joanne Brady and has been on one with us as well. I think look, we now sell out that tour every year with 120 people. We're not the cheapest on the market, but we're by far the best. The inclusions are amazing. Those relationships with people like John Stone. You get to Tootsie's and you can't get in, and he'll see me from stage and he'll go to the back door. And I'll go, I've got 50 people with me. It's okay. Go to the back door. You know, those experiences money can't buy. We were the first tour group ever that the Bluebird Cafe opened for a private event.
About to say, did you do a didn't you do it for a football match? You rented a whole thing out for, was it a football match or an Australian football match there in Nashville?
Yes, so it's called the State of Origin. Okay. And it was 2 a.m. in the morning, and so we made sure a lot of our clients wanted to see the football, so we made sure we hired a venue. It was the hotel provided the venue, and we got pizzas and beer and coffee and tea and breakfast stuff, so they could either have a late night or an early morning. And unfortunately, we watched Queensland win. I know Maddie will be happy with that, but I wasn't too impressed. Yes, it's all about the experience there. You know, we have a boot shop open just for our guys to go in and do private shopping, buy their boots, try them on when no one else is around with a discounted price. And we get some of the artists to come and perform late at night just for our group. We've had the same seats for 18 years at the CMA Fest. It's a very cool experience, and we can sell to Americans or anyone from around the world that wants to join us. So keep on my Facebook page or the Chris Watson Travel one, or our website, chriswatsontravel.com.au, because it's Australian based, so don't forget the .au. And we'd love to have you come and hang out with us for a week in Nashville and do some dancing, do some partying. And we try and every couple of years we catch up with Barry and Darianne. We haven't seen them the last few years, but normally catch up with Barry at work or something. It's a really cool. It would be my favorite tour we do, followed closely by our Fiji one that we do.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of the Fiji one. Super jealous of that one.
It's very cool.
Kelly wants to know, what is your favorite line dance to dance to?
Oh, gosh. You know, I can't say I have a favorite dance, but I still get, and I haven't done this one for a while, but I still get lost, and it's a left field one for me. It's not one people probably expect me to do as much because I'm so country. I get lost with Fragile. I just feel it. I feel the moves. I hear every beat, and I haven't done it for a while, but I do love dancing that dance. And then on the complete opposite side of it is, Half Past Tipsy is just a fun country bar dance that you can get out there with everyone, listen to a great song. It fits perfectly. I love Turning Tables of Maddie and Tom's. It's a great dance. Just a Phase. I like those slow, emotional dances where I can feel the beat and really feel the song. But the Turning Tables, the lyrics of that song really get me because I can relate to that, and I know Tom can as well. But those lyrics really relate to my childhood. So that dance and song probably of late has been the one where I just get on the dance floor, switch off, and lose myself.
Awesome. Kayleen asked, how long is your bucket list, Chris, and what is next on it? Ashley, how long have we got?
Hey, Ash, well, you already know I've done the Northern Lights, because how many photos did I post about the Northern Lights again, Ash?
I was super jealous of that one. I saw your pictures of those. That was absolutely phenomenal that you
If you
posted.
ask my wife or Ash or Maddie, everyone saw my pictures of those because I had way too many. But that was way at the top of my bucket list.
Oh,
Antarctica's on my bucket list. I'd really like to get to Antarctica and South America. I haven't been to like Machu Picchu and places like that. In terms of the dance community, the Crystal Boots is the top of it for me. I'd love to get back to World Dance Masters. And of course, I'd love to get back to so many events in the US, but I love how Vegas Dance Explosion brings so many of us together as well.
yes.
And Doug and Jackie do an awesome job on that. But there really is just so many great events in the dance community. But yeah, my bucket list just keeps growing, Kayleen, of places I want to go and things I want to do. And yeah.
Barbara just said, I love Nothing to Hide that you did with Simon. And I actually played that on my radio show this morning when
Oh,
I was talking about you because I loved it. The first time I saw Simon debut it when he was at the Experience that week in Nashville, he played it. And me being the country fan, love Brett Young, love Brooks and Dunn. That
that cover
version,
is so good.
oh, that
So
version
good.
of
And
that song was so smooth. And I was so
thank you.
happy when he debuted taught that. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, well, that was the first place he taught it. That's where he debuted it.
I
And
was
I
lucky
love
enough to be
working with
DJing that session for Big.
Yeah.
I gave Big David Break, and as how the session started, I look up the music. I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, I hadn't heard the track. I haven't heard that version before. And he goes, hey, hit the music, and I start listening to it. I'm like, OMG, this, oh, that whole
I
album they
love
did, the
choreographing.
remakes was great.
I love choreographing with Simon and with Maddie, and I love collaborating with lots of people. Like I got to do collaborate with Tina last year, and I really enjoy that. But as I said, Simon and Maddie is such a big part of my life. So that dance was a great one. Working on it together with Simon, and just
Yeah,
that song when I played in the song, and he's like, "Yes, that's the one, Chris. That's the one."
yeah, it
Yeah,
was great. It's just the track is just nothing against the original, but that version with Brett Young in it, man, it was just
yeah,
so smooth and elegant, and it was just perfect,
yeah. It
absolutely
was. Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, very
So,
very well.
well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Once
Thank
again,
you for having
huge
me.
congratulations on the induction. Uh,
Oh,
so
thank you
looking,
to all those in the Hall of Fame that nominated it and yeah, decided to induct me because that's pretty special to be inducted by, as I said, people I look after. So thank you very much, and thank you to the dance community because we wouldn't be here chatting right now. We wouldn't be doing what we love if we didn't have those people out there buying tickets, jumping online, supporting us, and encouraging us, and reminding us sometimes when things do get tough. Hey, you really love this. Don't give up. Stick with it. Have a crack.
absolutely,
Yeah, I very very grateful to the whole community.
absolutely, guys. Don't forget check out chriswatsontravel.com. That way you can see all the updates. Don't forget head over check out Mayworth. You're not going to be disappointed if you ever make it over for it. But huge thank you for coming on, brother.
Kelly, bro, great to see you, mate, and
Great to
I
see you,
can't
man.
wait to share a drink with you somewhere as soon as we
Absolutely.
can.
Yes. Guys, don't forget Thursday. Come join me. We're going to do my entire recap on the whole CBA experience. We're going to talk about all the winners, what it was like all weekend, the workshops, the different competitions we did, and the different open dancing. So join me, normal time, Thursday, 5 p.m., 10 p.m. UK time.